I'm not feeling physically great. I'm not feeling emotionally great. But the OG crew is here on a difficult Monday after a, turbulent couple of weekends in politics. And I want to pace ourselves because we got 4 months of this shit coming up. And I don't want to blow a gasket every Monday because something else has changed. And Roy, I need your help here. We cannot go through this and football season. And General Where's Stugotz, the General Where's Stugotz of today, where we can't trust him at all to just show up. We got 5 months of crazy ahead. And I don't know whether to start the show with Biden talk. Biden talk?
I don't know, man. Like, I'm too tight. I'm used to Stugotz not being here. We can throw it out to the side, but after the Stanley Cup final, now this, I'm exhausted, man. Exhausted.
We haven't even started. We haven't even started, like, the actual cycle.
Oh, God, no.
We haven't started. Billy, what are you making faces
by Roy.
about?
Great acting there, Roy. Good job,
We
Roy.
haven't even gotten to the DNC yet. That's going to be interesting.
Let's just appreciate our moment in history, shall we? History is literally happening every day, and I know that's the deal with history. But this time in particular, there's going to be plenty of stuff written about in history textbooks. We get to see an open convention. It's the first time in my lifetime I get to say I saw that. A president that had the most popular votes ever, that was a pretty successful president when it came to midterm elections, has just decided at his age and his health and his current polling to step away from seeking re-election and endorse his vice president. This is a moment in time.
A heroically unselfish act.
Yeah, and it's the first time in my lifetime that, I know this has been aggregated a bunch, that a Bush, a Clinton, or a Biden won't be involved in an election. So that's fresh. That's new.
I know, but every day is.
Of course, the guy running on the other side of the ticket was a president the previous time. But, baby steps to a total reset.
Chris Cody, why are you smiling?
Because I'm with my friends. I made it. I woke up another day, Dano.
Ever the optimist over here.
I stay out of that stuff. You guys can worry about that stuff. I'm good.
I am. Very worried.
Chris is bowling on Wednesdays. What are we going to do?
What do you mean you stay out of that stuff?
I mean, I'll
do you
vote.
He'll get there when it's time.
I'm on your guys' team, but I'm just not going to get all worked up. All right? You guys got that.
He does seem a lot happier than you guys, to be honest.
I'm going to watch
you.
funny YouTube videos.
He's figured it out.
Yeah, good for you.
You know what? My presidential coverage is watching Kill Tony and seeing Biden and
you know what?
Trump
you
over
say
there.
that. Yeah, look, here, this is what's funny about you, though. This is what's funny about you. Yes, I get it.
You're tired, man.
Yeah, no, you're part of the great divide in this country of people who just want to go laugh and be left alone somewhere and go watch.
Internet.
Yes, go watch.
I'm going to vote. Hey, out there, everyone, vote.
Hold on a minute. All right?
Wait 1 second.
I mean, in fairness, his vote counts the same as yours. So if you could do it stressed out, you could do it calmly.
Yes,
I mean,
but
it's probably better the way Chris is doing it.
Yes, but the problem with what Chris is doing is Chris couldn't wait to start texting people that Biden was out of the race.
Oh, it was the best. I love when you have a news story. It's like, who can I share this with? Hey, Dad, Biden pulled out. Mom, did you see? He picked Kamala.
Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Yeah, I hear him chat from the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls better tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We can't go out, man, get my peace. We take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the prize. Man, so tough, but man's keep walking. Yeah, just too sharp with the prize. White girls better tell me I'm awesome. Yeah, hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch me, please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
My father is Biden's age. I can't get him to give up the diet orange soda. I can't get him to give up the car keys. My father is Biden's age, a grumpy, stubborn old man who doesn't want to change at all. An act of heroism, an unselfish act of heroism by an old man to say, I'm too old for this. You know what? I agree with you. I'm going to be accountable. I'm bad for all this. Polling's bad. I got to get out of the way. It makes me sad, scared. It's kind of amazing and funny that age knocks him out. But the other guy's a criminal, and he's still in the game.
Old, by the way, and old.
Well, now, and going to look all the older because he's falling asleep at White Trash Convention with Hulk Hogan. But I don't want to start there.
Give Chris's technique just a week and see how your life feels. Like, just try it for a week,
Objection
man.
leading the jury was coded language.
I have to pace
in that
myself.
you said it overtly.
I have to pace myself over these next 4 months because everything's getting increasingly crazy when the last 8-day cycle gives us an assassination attempt. And now, hey, it's not, it's not deposed. It's not dethroned, but Biden being out because everybody in the party sort of turned on him in a way that created the self-awareness of this can't win. The public's not going to go with he's aging too quickly.
The documentary on this is going to be great 20 years from now because after then we can actually come to grips with where we are right now. I think my main takeaway outside of just the horrific events from 2 Saturdays ago was I was so stunned at how the world just kept moving. Baseball games that were supposed to go on went on. We didn't miss a beat. He's speaking at the convention, and we're just chugging along. And it's kind of like how we now know that there's UFOs around, but we don't know how to talk about it, and the human mind can't even comprehend the scope of it. So we just keep moving on with our day and watching Kill Tony.
Well, could it be that we kept chugging along because Trump kept chugging along?
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's acting like it was like the most normal thing. So it's just, I don't really know how to reconcile with the times because they won't slow down.
Okay, so we've got 4 to 5 months of this, and also this is a good time for Thom Brennaman to get back in the game. Like Thom Brennaman
What a news dump he took advantage of.
Time has sped up over the last 4 years. I think we'd all agree. I think everyone would agree with wherever it is our divisions are over the last 4 years. Time has sort of been warped on things, and so I have a mark in sports, a line and it wasn't Rudy Gobert, where sort of like here comes the pandemic sadness of a career is going to get lopped off. One of the first things that's going to happen during weird pandemic times is Thom Brennaman's going to have an off-air moment that has a gay slur in it, and it was on a live mic. And then Thom Brennaman is giving the apology during what is now, over the last 4 years, Castellanos is only associated with this. You don't associate him with championship games or Phillies, or you just associate him with, as a Red, hitting a home run during the most awkward Simpsons-type satire apology you've ever heard in sports.
Castellanos to lead things off. Jim Day's going to be taking us the rest of the way through this game as Holland takes over on the mound. I made a comment earlier tonight that I guess went out over the air that I am deeply ashamed of. If I have hurt anyone out there, I can't tell you how much I say from the bottom of my heart. I'm so very, very sorry. I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith. As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game. I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again. I don't know if it's going to be for the Reds. I don't know if it's going to be for my bosses at Fox. I'm going to apologize for the people who signed my paycheck, for the Reds, for Fox Sports Ohio, for the people I work with, for anybody that I've offended here tonight. I can't begin to tell you how deeply sorry I am. That is not who I am, and never has been. And I'd like to think maybe I could have some people that could back that up. I am very, very sorry, and I beg for your forgiveness. Jim Day will take you the rest of the way home.
And that ended in his career in a way that's like, I don't even mean to laugh. It's just so perfectly awful. And
It'd be such a perfect apology, too, that really considers, like, man, I don't know if I'm ever going to put on these headsets. It really takes into account the gravity of the situation. It's a man reckoning with the end of his career, but Castellanos couldn't lay out.
It was wonderful that he had to respect at the very end in an empty ballpark, totally quiet. He created for me a moment that I would put in my personal sports hall of fame for, I remember how it felt during the pandemic to not feel sick because sports made me laugh again. Because sports could give me a joy in an empty ballpark with no sound where you get that apology. But now Brennaman's back in the game. You get an assassination attempt over here. President drops out. Boom, boom, boom. Good in the news cycle. 4 years long enough. Get back in the game. The CW needs you. We got sports all over. And someone's going to broadcast that out-of-conference Wake Forest football game.
And I'm going to be betting on it to the soundtrack of Thom Brennaman. And I've got a really hot take when it comes to Thom Brennaman. That's fine. He can go back now. Feel like he served his time. I know he said a lot of people can back that up, that that's not who he is. I don't recall like a huge line, but you are not your worst moments. And I feel like 4 years and the penance of having to call ACC football on the CW, I feel like that's good. We did that one right.
Jeremy's wincing, though.
Lot of young, hungry broadcasters who you could have hired instead of a guy who used the F slur toward gay people on a hot mic when, his job is to speak. When your job's to speak and you speak a slur into a microphone, maybe you don't hire that person to speak again. There's plenty of other people who you could hire to do that job.
I hear where you're coming from. I'm pretty sure that guy's never going to make that mistake again.
Yeah, that's not the point.
Okay.
Well, it's just like I know I'm not going to play gatekeeper on broadcasters. I know there's plenty of young broadcasters,
right,
and there's plenty of crap football games for them to call. Like shutting out Thom Brennaman because we don't feel like he's sorry enough.
He just got to have a long enough career. No, I don't know.
I'm not gonna die on that hill. If Thom Brennaman wants to get back, he gets to prove for a year that he's not going to say a gay slur into a microphone during ACC football games on the CW.
That is
not who I am.
This is what I would love to do here for the rest of time as a sports show. I would love to govern just you two yelling at each other over what should be the penalty between 4 years and a lifetime ban, and just and make up the rules as we go along, because we don't know. Because Jeremy's right that a young broadcaster could be given a chance with that game.
So could a grizzled old vet.
That is not who I am.
A bad moment.
And never has been.
But it was that one time at that microphone.
Oh, it was a bad one.
Yeah,
I got to say, one of the worst.
But when he says it's not who I am and who I've been, I mean, you just were on a live mic. That's why you're apologizing.
It's who he was 10 minutes ago.
We just made the president of the United States stop running for president because of bad moments on the microphone.
Well, he stopped for 4 years. I don't know. It's just like if he's sorry, CW does its vetting process. They feel like they can hire him and give him a second chance. I'm not anti-second chance. I don't think he's still hateful. He's been laying low. I'm good with him trying to claw back into it, see if he can have a career again.
He's been laying low because no one gave him a shot.
That's right.
Like he was in I think he was in the Caribbean baseball
Yeah,
leagues.
but he didn't do the thing. He's not holding up a poster board like David Pollock, guys. He's been laying low. He hasn't made himself this huge victim. He's acknowledged that he slipped up. He hasn't been blaming anybody else. How often have we seen that grift? How often have we seen someone, my character has been assassinated, I'm a victim here of cancel culture.
I just don't
He's
know.
been laying low.
Look, I don't know. Slipped up, laying low 4 years. I don't know what the rules should be. I'm not sitting here telling you.
6 years.
What, like you want him to do Maction?
Maction.
Minor league baseball?
Look, this is the thing that I hate about what's happening to me.
Saudi League?
As my sensibilities tend to age.
Florida Everblades?
7.5 years.
I've never been the guy who wants anybody lifetime gone for anything because we define anybody by their worst acts.
Well, then welcome Thom Brennaman to the CW. Thank you.
After 4 years of penalty, but I do like arguing about whether it should be 4.5 or 5 or 5.5 because I'm watching the Louis C.K. documentary and I'm like, okay, he's back in the game. And that was the penalty.
I don't think he ever really left the game.
No, but
It's less for comedians. Comedians get 2.5 years.
yes.
Or one special.
But if we're going to make all the rules as we go along, it's like moral arbiters. We're going to all do this together, unified as one, on the one thing of what's the appropriate outrage for this sports broadcaster using a slur. What is the right amount? Brennaman's back in the game now. 4 years, we'll forget. One news cycle, we'll forget.
Let's call him Louis C.W. It's a good joke.
For Louis C.K.
It is a good joke. I can't hit the button for you, though. You're going to have to do that for you.
Speaking of hitting the button, okay, I didn't get to properly remember a Hall of Fame sound from around here on Friday. We lost a conservative icon. I am on a text string with some of my friends that just keep scrolling new death news to me about just the latest person from my childhood who is dying. Lou Dobbs, conservative icon, 78 years old, has only one sound in the history of this show that is a Hall of Fame sound, and it's him trying to say, I don't even remember what country in
Guadalajara.
Mexico. No, it wasn't Guadalajara.
No, it wasn't?
No, it wasn't. We always thought that's one of the things that's funny about it. It was
got myth busted?
Yes, it was not. That's what I wish it had been, but when it wasn't, it made it all the funnier.
The caravan of mostly Central American immigrants is now in the Mexican city of Oaxaca.
Man, you sure it's not Guadalajara?
I'm positive.
What could it be?
We've done this before, and somebody's done the research on it, and it's been disproven. It was not Guadalajara. It
Mexican city of Oaxaca.
It's got to have an X in it.
It does.
It's got to have an X in it, right?
Please you take a second and look it up. I'm ashamed that I don't know this because I should know this. Roy, I'm surprised you don't know it because as our resident historian on these things, you usually are up to matters, especially when it comes to the death of cultural conservative icon Lou Dobbs.
Yeah, I I thought it was Guadalajara or Guadalajara. Right?
Wow,
Yeah,
Taylor just texted me from another room. A great little tidbit. The quarterback for Boston College is Thomas Castellanos.
That's correct.
We've got an opportunity here for the funniest thing ever to happen. All we need is for Thom Brennaman to slip up one more time and for Castellanos to do something on the field immediately after.
You knew the Boston College quarterback's name was Castellanos off the top of your head.
I just read about it this
Scrambler.
weekend because a lot of people had pointed out on this story of Brennaman that he was going to be. It's very rare these days, Billy, on the internet that you're allowed to get to any of the jokes first. People are already making them as soon as any kind of news breaks.
Apparently, the name of the city is spelled Huixtla.
Can we use it in a sentence?
I can't.
Spell it again, Roy.
Huixtla.
If Nick Castellanos didn't hit so many home runs at bad moments, do you think Thom Brennaman would have been back sooner?
I think the opposite. I think the only reason he gets to come back is because we've turned it into a meme.
I think that had he not done it so many times, people would have forgotten why Thom Brennaman was fired to begin with. Because every time it happens, then you go and you see the apology, and you're like, what did he do again? You're like, oh, yeah, that's no.
You know, like when they say, let the apology be as loud as the criticism? That time the apology was louder than the initial incident. Like, it's become so memeable that you have to kind of look back and say, what is he apologizing for?
I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith. As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run.
It's so good. I mean, if a script writer wrote it, like if that is the shame you take to your grave as a broadcaster who took himself seriously and who got broadcasting descended to him from his father, someone who cherishes broadcasting, if the satire and humor of that is how your career ends and the universe just laughs at you with 1,000 clowns in the sky, it should be the final disgrace that echoes for you in a way that if you're not self-serious, you could be like, man, that was perfect. I got the perfect ending. A Brockmire type of casual slur that was grandfathered in from 3 decades ago in baseball off air. and now I've got to apologize for it, and it's going to be my eternal shame. Like I'm not kidding you when I tell you there's a special kind of curse in that purgatory that Brennaman has to take broadcasting that seriously, and that he would disgrace it at the end while still trying to respect the broadcast of it by describing a meaningless home run during the pandemic.
Can you do a South Beach Sessions with him? That'd be no, not Castellanos. Well, yeah, do Castellanos too. But Brennaman ran into something that we later discovered was a thing entering that moment for Castellanos, because when this became viral, everyone's like, guys, this is not even the first time Castellanos has done this. There was an awkward apology on the air from his earlier days in Major League Baseball, and he's only leaned into it since. Like always, anytime now something is in the news, the first thing people do that like to gamble is they go to the home run props and pick Nick Castellanos to go deep.
It started with the beginning of his career. His first home run was May 1st, 2011. The next day, Osama bin Laden was killed. Now he homered on the day of the Trump assassination attempt. He homered on the day that Joe Biden decided he would no longer run for president. He homered when the Phillies were on their broadcast giving an update on Charlie Manuel's stroke. He homered during, I believe, a rehab game at a minor league park when someone was talking about his then recently passed away Uncle Charlie. There are so many examples of Nick Castellanos homering in the middle of tragic news.
I need to get that sound. We need to get that minor league sound, because it feels like a cosmic joke in that we are living right now the Castellanos era of pandemic baseball and comedy. But I want to again go back to the spelling. How would you pronounce HV? Spell this for me again. HVIXTLA.
The V is a U. So HUIXTLA.
Yeah, HUIXTLA.
Okay. Okay. Quixla?
Honestly, think he did a good job after
No.
seeing how it's spelled.
No, Billy. No. What are you talking? No. No.
It's a hard word.
It is a hard word, but I'm asking all of you to go around the room and try to pronounce that word if he thought the second letter was a V and not a U, because that would be tough for Lou Dobbs. That's some gymnastics. Asking Lou Dobbs to get used to brown spellings, accents, and flavors. No, he doesn't want that in his America, so he'll die before he lives it.
I'll take a crack. Ixla.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's it.
Roy, you can't be trusted.
No, I can't.
You can't. Like,
Ixla.
No, the H is silent, so it's already off to a bad start.
Oh, okay.
Roy, your pronunciation of Guadalajara
Hey, listen.
was so bad. No, what do you mean? Hey, listen, what?
I can't speak Spanish. I'm sorry.
But then I've been making fun of Lou Dobbs. We're literally burying this old man for how many years for trying to get through that word, and you're telling me he's got no chance because
I can't get through that
you've
word.
lived in South Florida all your life, surrounded by Latin people.
Yeah, but in a different neighborhood, though.
I'm going to miss Lou Dobbs, ancient patron saint for a different time when conservatives could be slightly less lunatic than the ones in front of us right now.
I don't mean to be that guy on this hour the entire time, but that guy was pretty racist and xenophobic
Oh,
over
sure,
and over and
absolutely.
over
Sure,
again.
but it was a
Quaint time.
It was
I
a
mean,
quainter dinosaur time. Yes, of course he was.
directly led to what's happening now.
Yes, of course.
And
but he
don't
was
sell
an-
your
All
stuff
right,
short.
But all I'm saying is he was an amateur working in the fringes around. Limbaugh was the guy doing the real damage, and Dobbs was over in the conservative corners picking up, whatever dust the professional assholes could back then. Yes, Jeremy, of course. And now it's all so much worse. I'm not exactly longing for a quainter time in racism. Just let the man be dead for 5 minutes before you disrespect his racist.
You're the one that called for the sound.
His racist, xenophobic ass.
No.
I mean, what are we doing? I do think, I don't know, because I'm really confused about how to do some of this in the next 4 months, because I sort of want to play around in the playpen of doing all the nonsense. And I also want to wonder about whether the last 8 days are going to be now the new normal for the next 8 days, because, of course, all of this stuff is going to escalate. It's been gurgling since January 6th, right, where we're going to look at the same thing happening, same horrifying thing at the beginning of Castellanos, and we're all going to be like, okay, we're going to look at this one differently. This is either, a harmless bunch of Sherpas walking in, they're not attacking democracy, or it's an insurrection. And now we're going to fight about words and semantics, and you're going to see the country divided everywhere, all over the place, until the gun violence is so bad all around that an assassination attempt occurs, and that one's not. That seems to be a job, a mental illness. That doesn't. What is we don't even understand what the politics of that are. And so we come into this time now, and the Democrats just ran an old man out of office, and that makes me feel bad because he tried to do the right things at every turn, and at the end of it all, he has to fall on the crucifix. As the other party is the one about religion, the other party is the one where Trump can't even hold up a Bible correctly because of how much they hide in the religion of hatred. So now we head into the next 4 months. And you've never heard me around here be radically pro-Biden. All I am is radically anti all of that over there. Like, just give me something less criminal, less sexist, less racist, less homophobic, just less. Yeah, all the sides are evil. Everyone's bad. Everyone's bought. Everyone's corrupt. Just give me slightly less evil than that. That's what I'm voting for. And so now they just throw all the popcorn up in the tin, and who knows what's going to happen. Like, I don't trust polls. I don't trust information. I don't trust experts. So who knows what happens over the next 4 months? As my news shows that I'm trusting can't even keep up with the politics of the moment because between Bill Maher and John Oliver, they're too much happens in a week for either one of them to be able to produce something that I can consume so I can hear somebody try to be reasonable during something that's obviously not reasonable. We just ran an old man who tried to be graceful to the very end of his life. Ran him right out because he's old, and I get it.
Career. But I guess on a long enough timeline, yeah, I guess he's closer to the end than the middle.
I'm just saying that we can't do better than this. Is like I believe all of us are mortified.
We can and we are. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, isn't this the Democratic Party acknowledging that they have to?
Yes, because they were going to lose.
Right.
Because that thing we've been talking about, the need to declare something over. When the bullet missed, all I heard was people declaring the election over immediately after an assassination attempt. And now the new normal is the way that you counter that winning photograph is you overthrow your own president because he's old.
I mean, if the assassination attempt had happened in a Kamala versus Donald Trump campaign, we may not be responding the same way because it may have already been so decisive that the convicted felon wasn't going to be the president. But in this case, we were coming off of a couple of weeks of the media, not just the Democratic Party, but basically the media coalescing and saying Biden is too old. He's also not entertaining, which is not great for us as a corporate media entity. And in turn, he's now gone, and the Democrats are doing what they can to put the best possible candidate to represent what that administration has done the last several years in charge.
The whole thing leaves me a bit heartbroken, like sad, and not hopeful, but moderately less hopeless. Not optimistic,
well, but
moderately less pessimistic.
That's good.
It's not vibrant, alive, but it's better. It's something.
Bringing the Monday vibes.
Mean Culture's gonna win it.
Try bowling on Wednesdays. I'm telling you. Look
Telling
at Chris.
Good midweek pick
Not
me
a
up.
care in the world.
Look at this face.
It is very difficult the way that this man makes a living. I really love and respect his grind that he would be ready during a pandemic, after a pandemic, to tour the country the way that he's touring the country when people need to be hearing his voice at these times because he's seen a bunch of stuff, and he has a really unique way of looking at them. Roy, thank you for being on with us. Again, I'm always happy to talk to you. I've got The Road to Rickwood to promote for him. It's a new podcast on civil rights and baseball. He does it with NPR. It's meaningful, and he's got shows coming up this summer: Denver, New York, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio. He's got his new special coming for Hulu. So thank you, Roy, for making the time.
Let's get to it, Dan. Does Meadowlark Media support the vice president? Do you nominate her or not? Pledge your allegiance right now. You have until sundown.
Yeah, you sounded a little Cosby there. There was a little threatening Cosby there in there, I heard.
It's like, I understand the craziness of politics today, but there's like people who aren't even involved in the democratic process who are like, we too nominate. Like, hey, settle down. You're a juice drink company. Just sell me juice drinks today.
What is this though, Roy? These are unprecedented public times, or am I overstating it?
I don't understand what the thing is about what's happening with Kamala in this moment. She's the vice president. She should be the nominee. Listen, remember when you worked at McDonald's and your manager got drunk and didn't come in that day? The assistant manager became the manager. That is the way the hierarchy works. So if Joe Biden goes, hey, y'all, I'm finna go home, then Kamala, you get to wear the manager hat, and then you go get Gavin Newsom off drive-through, and you say you're the assistant manager now, or Gretchen Whitmer, whoever you prefer. But my point is, there's ranks in politics already set up in place. So the idea that there needs to be a process to play out before we decide, whatever, man. I'm so confused about politics.
The analogy does make sense in that the inner workings of a McDonald's is kind of like, the world and how important everything is. I don't know. Like, people don't vote on who runs the McDonald's. I guess that's what the delay is.
Listen, 3 months ago, the Supreme Court mattered. We don't know what's going on in the world right now anymore, okay? It's crazy times. I'm happy that we're at least having a conversation about whether or not a black woman's qualified to have the job. At least it's happening in public now and not behind closed doors. So I guess, yay, progress to that.
That's a good platform with a question mark. Yay, progress with a question mark.
Yeah. But no, I'm good, man. Good to be back on the show. Happy to see you. I got to give a real quick shout out to the Mario Lemieux Foundation. Had a great time in Pittsburgh over the weekend raising money. Was able to make it in spite of the travel craziness. 9-hour Amtrak from Milwaukee, leaving the RNC to get to Pittsburgh, and it was a good time.
Help me not make normal what are abnormal times, okay, Roy? In the last 52 days, we have witnessed May 30th, Trump's conviction, June 27th, Biden's debate, July 1st, the Supreme Court grants Trump immunity, July 13th, would-be assassin shoots at the Trump rally, July 15th, a judge down here in Florida dismisses the classified documents case, July 15th, Trump picks J.D. Vance. July 21st, Biden drops out. That's the time I was kind of on vacation. So, have you had a last couple of weeks like those couple of weeks?
No, I don't think I've ever had a run like that. I will say in the midst of all of this, I think one of the more braver politicians right now is J.D. Vance, because you have to stand next to a dude on stage in public places, and they've been actively trying to kill him. So I don't think there's anybody more courageous, because I can tell you right now, Dan Le Batard, if you just got shot at 2 days ago and then you asked me to come do something with you in a public place, I'm going to be like,
yeah,
you're my boy, but I'll be over there. You stand over there. No. You go on the stage, Dan. You go talk to the people. I'm going to be over here.
All right. Well, I will not lessen our friendship. How many people are you saying, okay, I'll ride with you? How many are the people are you always going to take the other direction? Because the power grabs are pretty overt these days. Like what J.D. Vance is doing is pretty shameless on, surrounded by rampant shamelessness.
Oh, of course. I mean, but the entire Republican convention is people who were talking trash about Trump now being nice to him to his face. It's like a reverse roast. and that you're just watching people just go, oh, you're so nice, you're good. Don't worry about none of that stuff I said about you 2 months ago. So, I don't know, man. I think that the election cycle should only be 4 or 5 months anyway. Just as a, I'm a fan of, like, if we want to bring it to sports, when they told me the NFL used to have like 14 game seasons, I'm like, bring that back. I mean, it'll never happen because of money, but the idea of there just being a sprint to the finish, I don't think anybody should have a nominee until around now. What are we, 60 days out till D-Day, 100 days out, something like that? That's what it should be.
But when we talked on South Beach Sessions, like you've seen from the insides of speaking to these people, like this is a cocktail party grift, that all of these people are bought, and so many of them are like, it feels to you like paid actors. Like you've seen the deep insides of this machine.
I was at the CNN grill last week at the RNC, and if I told you some of the names that was up in there drinking CNN's free liquor, after all they do is talk trash about CNN, bro, it's a game. I really do think, though, that for the most part, all these elections just come down to like 2-3 million people. Like, their guy is their guy. And the same thing goes with the Democrats, the people who are going to be behind Kamala. You're not going to win those people. It's the people in the middle who really aren't sure, who really honestly don't pay attention to politics, and they're somewhere watching Love Island, and they're just now checking in. Because we forget, there's people who check into politics the way we do sports, where you don't check in. I'll be honest. I watch college basketball a little, but I don't check in until conference tournaments in February and top of March. That's when I watch college basketball. I couldn't name you 2 players on any team in the last decade. But come March, I'm like, well, Gonzaga's always tough. So those are the people that we're looking for. It's like all of those people who only watch the tournament. And I think that's who, Kamala has a chance to, to pick off some of those kind of undecided people.
What happened to you, Dan? Like, there was a time that you'd have guests come on here and you wouldn't let them just spew propaganda unchecked. And you're letting Roy get away with saying there should be less football in this country? He wants a 14-game season?
Yeah.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
He said it as if he'd had this groundswell of support.
You?
No one
18
wants that.
games, 20 games,
What's the difference in a 14-game season and a 12-team playoff? It's the same thing. You're just shortening the play.
No,
because
you can have four more games and then
the 12 team.
Exactly.
What
are you not getting? How about just 14 weeks of no football?
Exactly. Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Damn sacrilege. I can't believe this. Y'all want more football than we have.
And you're calling us
19
sacrilegious. I
Okay.
mean, if this were election, I know who's winning. Yes,
is that what you want?
Well, now we're working towards a solution, Roy. I like where your head's at. Thank you.
And then the football season will be just as long as election season, 1.5 years.
I hope it's longer than election season. I hope football seasons last 3 seasons long, each season.
What is it, MLS and NASCAR that go like February to damn near Hanukkah? It's too long.
What?
Roy, walk it back. Roy, I don't think you know where the line is anymore. I think you're out of control.
You've lost touch.
You've lost touch as a comedian. You need to walk it back now.
I'm sorry for talking about serious issues on this show. Let's get back to the presidential election.
Just being anti-football.
Let me get to the picks, because I want to have enough time for these picks. We didn't do the picks last time.
What, your semi-sure bet of the week? Is that what you're talking about? It hasn't
been semi-sure. I think the last one that hit, I said a team with an A would win the NBA Finals, and I was wrong about that, unless you spell Boston like that. But I got one for you this week, bro.
Well, but
this is a for sure.
I hope it's Justin Steele.
But I wanted to do Hulk Hogan. I wanted to ask you about Hulk Hogan and the RNC. You want to go right to the picks?
What is there to say about Hogan? Now, that's a grift. That's a grift. This man's been ripping his shirt off for 40 years. It was a new one. I long for the days of a normal Republican convention when it was just Jeff Sessions and Herschel Walker trying to read a teleprompter. Bring back the good old days.
It's crazy. That's the good old days.
You need to. I think he needs to walk back. Like, you can't come after Hulk Hogan. He's an American icon. Like, how can you come after
most people?
Look at this clown. It's a young brother. And then Trump blows him a kiss. Look, I think that we're at a point in politics where if you're a political party, you just find people that are passionate and that connect with your base, and it doesn't have to be eloquent anymore. I think we're going to see something similar from the Democrats as well. I guarantee you it'll be Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart at the DNC saying some shizzle dizzle. Matter of fact, put that down too. Put me down for that guarantee. Put for DNC speakers on your parlay. Give me Snoop Dogg, Martha Stewart, and I don't know.
Shizzle dizzle.
Madonna. Yeah, over under on shizzle dizzles at the DNC. I think Hogan speaking, I think Amber Rose speaking, I think all of it oddly makes sense. We talk about people needing to understand politics. We say politics is boring. Well, then put the wrestler dude up there. Put the woman with the tattoo on the forehead up there. If that's going to get a regular undecided person to watch this nonsense, I guess it's a good thing.
Oh, another platform to run on. Just you say things with a question mark at the end. You're moving the lines of where progress should be. This is so lowest common denominator stuff that for you to be numb to it, or
Dan, I've been working this middle of the road performance for years, brother. I even do this. You can't see it off camera, but I'm doing this as I talk to you.
I understand. My bad. I'll back off. Can we get to the semi-sure bet of the week, or is it Olympics related, or did you have?
Yeah,
it's Olympic.
Remember that the Olympics are happening. Did we not forget about that?
That's
in the middle of all of this.
This week, Olympics.
Yeah,
Paris.
You got the dream team almost becoming a 30 for 30 doc the other day, winning by 1 point.
Billy's so mad at them.
You know, if South Sudan beats them, that's a 30 for 30 in a Disney movie in a heartbeat. Might still be.
I have a question for you, a pitch, really. Why is it that in some events we can have as many entrants as we want for America, but in events like basketball, we can only have one team?
What do you want, like Team A and Team B?
Yeah, why not?
You wanted a separate squad?
Look what happened in the WNBA All-Star game. You had Team USA, and they lost the WNBA All-Stars because they were playing with a chip on their shoulder because they got left off. What?
Is our country not divided enough? Do you really want Jaylen Brown and Russell Westbrook leading the way?
I like Team USA and Team USB. I like that.
I mean, what could unite this country more than winning a gold and silver medal?
What's wrong with that?
They have to wear that on their uniform.
Yes, Team USB. Yes, that's right.
Guarantee you.
It's like a little fake action on the side.
It's a little USB cord. It's a logo.
They could win bronze.
I'd watch that. Come on. Just the second
terrible.
team.
You guys are terrible. Opening ceremonies are I think Friday or Saturday for the Olympics, and guaranteed sure bet. And thank you to your staff for pulling this statistics for me, Dan. Since 2008, on the same day as the Olympic opening ceremonies, the Twins and Pirates win. It has always happened since 2008. The Twins and Pirates win since 2008. Summer Olympic ceremony, same day, the Giants and Rangers lose. Every single time, every single year, the Giants and Rangers lose the same day as the Summer Olympic opening ceremonies. And I'm going to go a little deeper for you. The Twins leadoff hitter gets a hit every time. So if you're doing Beat the Streak, you're doing FanDuel, if you're doing, I'm telling you,
DraftKings is what we're doing.
Never doing
if you're
FanDuel.
doing, if you're doing DraftKings,
get it right.
If you're doing DraftKings, you need to bet on the Twins leadoff hitter to get a hit today. Also, same day as the Summer Olympic opening ceremonies. The Pirates number 2 hitter and the Pirates number 6 hitter always gets a hit. That's going to be Brian Reynolds and keep Brian Hayes. Put everything you own on this today.
All right, this is the Roy Wood Jr. Semi-Sure Bet of the Week, brought to you by DraftKings.
Quote, put everything you own on
everything
this.
You
right?
own
everything.
Don't quote that. We actually had meetings that said don't say that.
No,
don't say that.
He is saying that it's
Semi-sure.
Semi-Sure Bet of the Week.
Bet
because
responsibly.
It's not my fault if
Wood
it
is
doesn't
an
hit, but it
entertainer.
probably will hit. You should put everything you own on it.
There's a lot of
Nope.
whoa, that it's just excessive. Okay, but he's very confident. You can get tickets at RoyWoodJr.com. Roy, thank you. We're going to need you. Okay, we're going to need you over the next 4 months. Going to find you wherever it is wherever you're making comedy, because this can't be an acceptable level of crazy. But you're telling us we've only got attention span for the next 4 months. Everything before it, we're just hitting reset.
Yeah, but I got to go. I'm putting in my name in the hat for vice president. I got to straighten up my resume real quick.
All right. See you later.
You think they'll vote for 2 blacks?
See you later, Roy. Good seeing you again.
Not going to answer that, huh? Going to swerve that one, huh? Nice.
See you later. Good seeing you. Oh, dear God.
There were a lot of people just theorizing that the straight white male energy on the vice presidential side of the ticket is going to be extreme. Got to balance this one out, maybe from a swing state or two. See if you can have somebody that lives in one place but works in another.
Well, since you bring that up, I want to get into something that is a little awkward today that has created some tension in the room because Mike was seething. And I don't know, Billy has sort of gotten used to a casual numbness. But Stugotz, I think, was supposed to be here today. I'm not totally sure. At some point last week, he told somebody that he was going to be doing WFAN this week. And so Meadowlark is paying him to work for someone else there while not being here to do his job. He's not on vacation. He's just doing what he could be doing here at WFAN. However, for some reason, it's not today. He's not there today. We could have used him today. We needed him today, and he said he's traveling today. And so I just asked the group here, what is the level of anger towards Stugotz because of responsibilities that are being shirked this week while he works actively for someone else?
I'm numb to him. I don't feel anything when it comes to him anymore, good or bad.
Yeah.
Like the opposite of what I was saying earlier about the election, where I'm good. With Stugotz, it's just like there's no emotion.
But I guess the question I'm asking you, right, because since Whittingham suffered from some of this, of Stugotz trying to find all the crevices, all the places where people can say yes to things, where he could do the move of, hey, Dan said I could do this thing that I didn't say he could do, and then he says, man, Carl said I could do this thing, and it's the thing that nobody said that he can do, and that's how he ends up doing it. But, Billy, when did you find out he wasn't going to be available for God Bless Football?
Last night at 8. Yeah. I was trying to plan out, and I said, I sent a text. I'm like, so are you available? Are you not available? He told me he's available every day after 10 a.m. We'll see. But I don't know that that's necessarily the case because I would imagine, without knowing specifics, that WFAN studios aren't just available around the clock at his whim. So we'll see.
Why wouldn't he plan any of that with you?
Well, because he knows that it wouldn't have gone the way that it went. If he tried to play. I have asked him multiple times for his schedule, and he just tells me he sends it to other people. And I'm like, okay. And I never get it from anyone.
I'm not getting it either. So maybe he's just going to Carl with it. Like I think like a couple months ago, 2 vacations ago,
Yes.
I was on an email for a vacation.
We had a vacation schedule for Stugotz that was every day he was supposed to be here up through July 11th. And it is the 22nd, so the last 11 days and the future are unaccounted for.
The person I think who's most upset with him, and I don't know if he cares, but I'll portray him, I don't care, is Taylor. Because Taylor is from New York. He's a big WFAN fan. And Taylor, behind the scenes, does some work for Stugotz. And he helps him out with certain things. Sometimes Stugotz enlists him to do work for Stugotz. Then Stugotz doesn't show up after Taylor already did said work for him, anticipating him to be here. But in this particular case, because, again, Taylor's from New York and he's a big WFAN fan, when Taylor actually informed us that Stugotz was going to be on WFAN because he was listening to WFAN where they made that announcement that Stugotz was going to be on.
Like weeks ago, right?
Yeah, but they didn't give dates. So then he asked me when Stugotz going to be on WFAN. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then he's like, well, they announced it on WFAN. I'm like, get back to me if they give you more information on that on WFAN because I haven't heard a peep on that. Anyway, so Stugotz told him, the next time I go, buddy, just tell me. I'll get you into the studio. You can check out the studio. You can see behind the scenes. You can do XYZ thing. And he's been checking with Stugotz since that announcement was made on WFAN. And what I saw today was as of last Thursday, he said, hey, do you know the dates yet? And he said, still not sure on the dates, buddy. I'll let you know so you can come. And Taylor was going to pay his own way. He just kind of wanted to go be part of this. And, you know, he's helped Stugotz behind the scenes. He wanted to kind of reap the benefits of doing so and check out WFAN, a place that he's loved growing up. And as of last Thursday, according to the text exchange that I saw, we still didn't have dates set, which seems impossible.
WFAT.
Billy, please do me the favor of getting a live active microphone to Taylor in the other room so that I can speak to him about what is happening.
You don't want him to stroll in here? Be a lot
chair
less
right here.
technologically confusing.
Yeah, you sit right there in the middle or over there. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, we can do it.
Plus,
that
he'll get
way.
more nervous, I think, if he comes in here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
a
sure.
lot funnier. Yeah.
Nervous, less talking.
Okay, well, but
Put him right here next to me.
Stugotz has found another, and Billy, I don't know whether you were the original mark. I don't know who was the original mark on Stugotz finding people who can help him, that he can, squeeze every ounce of everything they have out of those people, pay them a moderate amount, promise them more and not give it to them. Taylor was made certain promises here by Stugotz, but I need to rewind some of this. Why is Stugotz not here today if he's not on WFAN today? Why?
Well, he has to go, travel day. He has to go and he has to
buddy.
get good sleep and he has to do prep. You know him. He wants to be prepped so when he goes on air, he's boom, ready to go.
Okay, Taylor, I'm going to get to you in a second, but Mike, you are just eating shit the entirety of this segment. I see it on your face. You don't want to say what you actually think here. I don't want to mine for content your genuine disgust.
So let's go to Mike.
Should I just go to Taylor to keep you out of this?
Yeah.
Taylor, what did Stugotz promise you? And he's not on FAN today, correct? He won't. What is this? The weird Tuesday through Friday schedule he's doing?
Yeah, he's hosting Tuesday through Friday. He basically told me, buddy, I know how much you love WFAN. When I host there, you're going to be sitting behind the scenes with me.
Oh, EP-ing. You're going to EP for me, buddy.
Yes.
So his personal EP that he's going to go to co-host a week of New York radio.
And he doesn't tell them about, so they're not expecting
No, the
Taylor.
white guy with the ponytail. What's his name? Does he have to move out of the
Eddie.
way? Yeah, is Eddie going to have to move out of the way for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I have a text from Stugotz, July 9th. This is me texting him. Do you have a date for WFAN shows? I need to book this flight. I'll know tomorrow. Nothing
Playing the
from
hits.
that.
Kick the can.
July 15th. Hey, do you have an update? WFAN need a flight. We'll talk tomorrow. We never talk the next day. And then Thursday, my last attempt, because I'm like, I know he's hosting sometime in July. We're running out of dates. Do you know the days of WFAN? Thursday at 4:19. Never responded.
In his defense, that might just be as much about not hanging around you as it is just like his general way of being.
Hold on, though. I'm just kind of...
Because that's how you ignore somebody
Wait a minute.
generally when you don't want to be with them.
I'm just thinking out loud now, and I know that this is a dangerous game. I thought he had to fly last Thursday after the show, so today's not a travel day. He would have seemingly already have been there.
This is what I don't understand about him, because I asked him, I'm like, you should go by the New York offices. They're really nice. They'll be happy to see you there. And also Count the Dings is doing something on Saturday. And they did a monster event that was popular, electric and stuff. And I thought he would have enjoyed being around those people. But he's like, I'm not in New York yet, buddy. And I'm like, but I thought you were going last Thursday to New York. I thought that's why.
I think he was in New York State, but not New York City.
That old thing.
Mike.
Yeah. I mean, I understand what you're doing. He's left us with this one note of Stugotz is the worst. He puts us in a bad situation. It's the only content that we can get out of it. But, this is in light of the recent news and just generally because he hasn't been here in the studio all that often over the summer is I actually think the content that he would provide in that studio next to a host that is just coming back from Africa would be better than talking about how he's not here. And he is always trying to find the person that'll get him the yes by evading the people that'll give him no's. He's doing it to his producer on God Bless Football. I feel really bad for Billy. I feel really bad for this show. And we keep rewarding it, so we can't act surprised by it. And all I ask is that we stop doing content around it because it's not very interesting to me because this has been 20 years of this bullshit. And that's what it is. It's bullshit. This is not how a person who cares allegedly about others should behave.
And we get Jeremy instead.
Yeah, I feel bad for the audience because they have to hear my
And
voice
Taylor.
instead.
No, it's not just
Taylor's been fine.
And Taylor. It's not just Jeremy. It's like, look, and then we bring in the reinforcements, and it's Jeremy and Taylor, which is, by the way, he wanted to be a program director at WFAN. All he would do is hire 40 Jeremys and Taylors, pay them nothing, and feed off them for an eternity, like the vampire that he is.
He's going to text me by 2 p.m. asking for Pete Alonso takes.
We outside, man. Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz. You already know we in the building. They sent the kids out to WNBA Live as they should, you dig me? Let's get it! Rookie of the Year, Angel Reese or Caitlin Clark? Who do you got?
I'm giving to Clark.
Angel Reese.
Angel Reese.
Of course.
Angel. I gotta go for Reese. She bringing that fire.
I got Angel. I love what she's doing on the boards. She's been really dominant this year. A lot of people slept on her, but Angel's my Rookie of the Year.
Angel Reese.
Ooh, Angel Reese, what you say?
Caitlin.
Angel Reese. Oh, a house divided, ladies and gentlemen. It's so hot. The air conditioning is on. I know it's on in here, but it do not feel like it, bro. The fate of the universe depends on your answer.
Okay, Angel Reese, because angels are better.
I'm going with Angel Reese. I'm going with Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese.
Caitlin Clark for sure. I mean, you got the triple-double, 19 assists in one game, fastest to 400 points in 200 assists, all kinds of stuff going on.
I'm contractually obligated to say both.
Nice. Rookie of the Year. The controversial question.
I think Angel's going to be a strong contender for it. Yeah.
You heard it here first. If Big Bailey said, you already know it's written.
I'm going to give them co-rookies of the year. First of all, to piss everybody off, but they've both been doing their thing, so we can't say one outweigh the other.
Women's basketball grows when everybody wins.
Thank you so much for your time. Since you are fresh as 1,002 drip down, how can I obtain one of these beautiful bucket hats?
You gotta do a legit. You gotta do a legit.
What it be? Hold on. Okay, hold on.
You don't get the show.
You don't get the damn show.
Poppy was right.
Poppy was damn right.
Stugotz was right. Stugotz was right.
Holy bleep, Stugotz was right. We found somebody with a very important message for our very own Mike Ryan. What you got, brother?
Ruiz. Where were Ruiz at? As the King Paul Pierce said, it's not Nevada. You weren't in Tahoe, Nevada. You were in Tahoe, Nevada, all right?
Oh, no, cut the camera. We came, we saw, we asked an important question, but we definitely damn sure conquered, you feel me? Phoenix is showing so much love, brother. Salute the DraftKings. Follow the good, follow right damn now. Wherever you are right now, pull out your damn phone. I'ma wait. Now, go to Instagram, type in good follow, and follow a good follow, you dig me? Salute to you, salute to the love. Dan, thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. God, and you know what? Thank you, Stu. I love you, Stugotz. Back to you, Bob. What it do, y'all? We are live at WNBA All-Star Weekend versus Team USA, man. So much love in the building. All the talented sisters are everywhere in here, you feel me? We finna ask a couple questions, get some good responses from these talented athletes. Salute to my dog Danny as always. Let's go. How does the weekend feel to you so far?
I mean, it's been fun. I mean, there's a lot of festivities going on.
You are one of the shining examples for motherhood in the league. What is that like?
It's awesome. I mean, she's the best part of my day. So having her, it just puts everything in perspective. Doesn't matter if I have a good or bad game. She loves me the same.
How is it to play with your life partner? That's so cool to me.
It's good. It also has its challenges.
Alyssa is like the and then so it's like she's I want to say me. She's a tough one. So we kind of balance each other out.
We had Jackie Young bobblehead night the other night in Vegas. How does it feel to see yourself like being cartoonized and just around the arena seeing that?
Yeah, it was cool. I thought they did a good job on the bobblehead, actually.
I got 2 of them, by the way.
Yeah.
What song do you always go to? Like, what's on your playlist?
I listen to country music, so I'm a Luke Combs fast car type of girl.
Who is the best social media follow in the WNBA?
I mean, I think you gotta go with the face of the league, Sid Colson.
Sid Colson. Either me or Cindy Colson.
Stewie's pretty funny on social media.
I think Angel's pretty entertaining.
How important do you think the addition of Marina Mabry gonna be post break?
I think it's huge for us. Obviously, in the first half of the season, we had some weaknesses.
I mean, barely. Don't do that. Weaknesses. How important has the addition of Tiffany Hayes been to the locker room and the Aces?
It's been huge. Like, I was like, come on out of retirement, come on over to Vegas. So it's been great.
Just seeing her on our team and just the joy that she brings and she plays with every day. Just kind of that spark off the bench for us.
I remember joking with her like, Tiff, like, I don't know why you had a rap before you came here because, man, you're incredible.
How important is it to maintain great mental health?
Oh, yeah, you see it. You see it all the time. The social media will drive you crazy if you let it, you know?
Just got to stay locked in, focus on, what you control and just focus on yourself.
Understand what is needed of you just mentally and making sure that you're at your best at all times.
As individuals, we have to be able to prioritize ourselves and understand when we need to take a step back and what that looks like for us.
For me, I'm just trying to give myself grace and just, continue to lean on God and then also my support system around me.
Taking time to yourself, journaling. I pray a lot. Mental health is super important and taking care of that comes far before playing a basketball game.
Media day was a success. My ass is on fire because I'm sitting on this hot ass step. My chest is on fire because the sun is burning my chest. I love you all. Good follow. Follow right now. Le Batard Show. Stugotz. I see you. I love you. We out.
We're going to catch up with JuJu because I really did enjoy everything that he was doing from the WNBA All-Star game, particularly because it was cool to watch somebody who's emotionally so invested in all of this for many years be a part and feel a part of the energy of, what is an all-star game that hasn't mattered like that before because the league has come alive and come of age, and he was there before, and before it was popular, before it was easy, and so it was fun to watch his energy meet their energy, and we'll be talking to him a little bit about that later in the show. But, Roy, I saw that you were wearing a McOverrated T-shirt, and I was surprised to see that had happened. I was hoping that Greg Cody would be able to get in here today, but he says he's very hard at work on his Biden impersonation that he's unveiled now on the Greg Cody Show featuring Greg Cody. He says
he has one too, yes.
He says it's better than your Biden impersonation.
I'd say by not showing up today, he's killing it.
Your Biden impersonation you think is better than your father's Biden impersonation? He sent it to me. He can't be bothered to make it in today, but he did just send in, hey, can you promote this on my podcast? I do a Biden impersonation.
Mine's stronger. My dad just focuses on the word Scranton because apparently he's from Scranton. You got to go back to Scranton. So, my dad just says Scranton
That's
a lot.
That's all he's got?
But mine's more, wide-ranging, I'd say mine is.
Yours is pretty terrible.
It's getting better, man. I'm tired. Let me go. Let me go lay down for a few months. I'll come back. Can I come back in October? Check back in October.
Is he Southern?
Come on, man.
Roy, why were you wearing a McOverrated shirt? I was surprised at the statement you were making.
I was not making a statement. I thought it was a very good-looking shirt. It had the Edmonton Oilers logo, but it was spelled out McOverrated. I think it was a nice
I just
shirt,
love
so
the idea of somebody wearing an offensive shirt and then trying to say, oh, I just think it's a good shirt. I don't believe in what it says.
I don't.
You could literally just wear an Edmonton Oilers shirt. It's the same logo. It'll say Oilers instead of something that is, offensive to one of the best hockey players, I'm told, in the NHL. Haven't seen it with my eyes, but whatever.
I'll be wearing another team's shirt, especially after the Stanley Cup final. No,
you took a stand. You
I didn't take a
co-signed
stand.
on the McOverrated thing by wearing that shirt. You could play that you didn't all you want, but you did. And in their eyes, they'll see it that way. You unnecessarily shot yourself in the foot. You had no reason to do that.
I just think it's a nice looking shirt, and I decided to buy it and wear it.
Well, tell that to Ed McDavid, who's over at the elbow room, because he's mad at people. Whatever his name is.
His father's name is Ed?
Roy, you've made this seems like a bad judgment that you have made. Where'd you get the shirt? Did you pay for the shirt?
Yes, I paid for it on our website. This is our shirt. So
He cared that much for it, that he paid his own money
You
for
bought
it.
you
with a
bought-
discount.
You bought with a discount. Wait a minute. How many other times have you bought show merch because you needed to wear it on your body, but this is the one where you're not making any kind of statement? How many other times do you get? I thought everything you wore from here was free for you.
How many shirts have been this nice though, Dan?
That's a good point. His father's name is Brian.
Oh, okay.
With an I.
Ed McDavid sounded good, though.
With an
I
eye.
thought so. Yeah.
Well, Billy, speaking of which, since all right now what we're headed into over the next couple of months of sports is just action in the Olympics. How many different patriotisms
Did you see that LeBron's going to be the flag bearer? Sorry to cut you off. Just exciting news.
One of the flag bearers.
First time.
Oh, wait, how many? Because I just seen the LeBron thing reported. How
I just
many?
saw a headline where it said he's going to be one of.
Oh.
Well, one of, like, he will, like,
The only basketball player.
Every
but-
country has a flag. You're not going to have multiple U.S. flags, are you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, maybe
Is it
that's
just,
what they meant. My
okay.
bad. I thought it'd be a thing like, we'll get Ledecky over here, and we'll get, like you guys can do it together.
I think that's what it should be, because I think being like a flag bearer is a generally overrated experience. Like, yeah, it's a great honor. It's voted on by fellow Olympians, and you're super excited to take all the photos, and that march out to your procession's got to be really cool. And then I imagine the novelty wears off almost immediately, and then you're just dragging this thing around. Tired. I'm walking. The wind is picking up. You ever hold the flag on a windy day? It's tough.
It should be done by someone whose skill set is primarily legs. Because
LeBron-
that could wear his arms out.
LeBron James will be one of the 2 U.S. flag bearers. There will be a woman, too. It's going to be announced today. Or Tuesday.
I would imagine, I don't know if I have this right or not, because the Olympics have always been seminal events and broadcasting greatness. It's the top of the food chain. Every streaming services, before it was popular, wanted to have the Olympics because the programming was amazing. You could drape commerce in the flag, and it's a giant for people who don't have cable, who watch on 3 networks. But I would imagine, in the modern age, our world is international enough, connected. You see the world, that some of these ancient distinguished things from a bygone Olympic time probably not as valuable anymore. Maybe to LeBron at 40 because he's your dad's age, but I don't know if the pageantry of the Olympics international is now something that we're this connected is going to hold for future generations what the Olympics have been for the last 3 generations.
Imagine if I told you there was an Olympic event in which a 40-year-old was competing in. I think you'd be drawn to it. I think lost in all of this is we've grown so accustomed to LeBron's greatness, and that not only is he one of the greatest basketball players ever, he's apparently one of the greatest Olympians ever because of how many Olympics he's competed in. To be considered still among the nation's very best at age 40 is quite impressive.
What would be more impressive? Someone competing at 50 or someone competing at 8?
What?
Ooh. Either way, I'm watching. 8.
Soccer's closer to that now.
8 because of the strides.
Like a swimmer, like an 8-year-old swimmer
Well,
that
soccer
just crushes.
Soccer's a lot closer to that. Dan, while you were in Africa, you may have missed a couple of soccer things. So I'm just going to put a little bullet points out there because I know you're not the biggest soccer fan. So in the MLS, a 14-year-old made his debut. He's the youngest pro athlete to ever make his debut in a North American league. His name is Kevin Sullivan. All right, he's 14 years old. Like, LeBron made the decision, and then out came Kevin Sullivan. Like, he's that new. But also, while you were gone, and I know this is Philly Union, MLS, we've seen Freddie Adu before. This guy's a little bit younger, but not the craziest thing. Well, how about a 16-year-old with braces being, for my money, the very best player in the Euro competition? He made the first team. Lamine Yamal won a European championship with Spain. First name on the team sheet. He was incredible. Bossed the entire tournament. COVID's been around for 25% of his life.
Oscar Swan, who is Swedish, has the record for the oldest Olympian to win a gold medal at 64 years and 258 days, and the oldest ever compete in the Olympics at 72. Wow. He was a shooter for Sweden.
Tell me more about Kevin Sullivan, Jeremy, please.
Kevin Sullivan, if you just want to look at his age, just to realize how young he is playing in MLS, there had already been 3 generations of the iPhone before he was born. He was born the same year as the debut of the Jersey Shore. He was born 2 weeks after Kanye West interrupted Taylor Swift at the VMAs.
After.
He was born after Michael Jackson died. And in his life, he has spent as many years with a black president as a white president.
Look at him checking into the game, though. He carries himself like he's much older. This is a 14-year-old boy.
Oh, wait a minute, though. You say that he carries himself as if he's much older. Yes, because he's been professionalized, but that looks like a child. Like
Really, man? He looks older. He looks older than a kid. Maybe it's because soccer players look younger and younger.
Because
that dude looks like you could have convinced me that dude is 20.
No, it's you're shrinking Michael Bradley, and you're just taking a generation.
He does look like Michael Bradley
it's
did.
It's a generation of players that look like Michael Bradley, and you're just making them all this kid.
No,
that is,
he looked like Michael Bradley when Michael Bradley was 20.
That kid, I'm looking at him, he doesn't look like a teenager to me. He looks closer to 12.
But I'm telling you, I could find other soccer players that you put up next to him, and you're going to be like, these guys all look like they're teenagers.
Yeah, they all look young. They're all thinner. But no, he carries himself on the field, and he's already signed with Manchester City. He's essentially being loaned back to his parent club. But if the Euro is any indication, there's always been this trend of getting younger and younger and finding the next great player. And usually we see flashes of promise. We don't necessarily see, like not since Pele, a 16-year-old just come into a major international tournament, which is Euro, probably the second toughest international trophy to win on the men's soccer side. For him to boss Euro and be, for my money, the best player, the most consistent player, starting every match in that tournament, that is wild. That is unprecedented.
John Michael Plum is the American who has participated in the most Olympic Games with 7. His sport, equestrian.
Look, man.
And had it been for 1980, it probably would have been 8.
I was watching yesterday morning. I'm not even going to be ashamed of it. CBS Sunday Morning, and it was old Ted Koppel got in the game and went to interview a 90-year-old decathlete. And I was just, as everything was going on.
Koppel's on CBS Sunday Morning now?
Yeah, well, he was doing like a correspondent hit, yes, and it was lovely. It's like it's where all the dinosaur journalism pieces are going to go die. Mo Rocca was there talking.
Yeah, Mo Rocca's been there for a while. There's Serena Outschel has been on CBS Sunday Morning for a while.
Such a good show, but they are trying to get the 90-year-old demo. And they did a decathlete doing decathlon at 90 years old. And as I watched everything going on with Biden and what a hard job that is, I was just like, good for you. You should be able to compete into your 90s if your bones aren't going to break when you do the pole vault.
I made it a point to watch 60 Minutes last night, wondering if they would do anything on the front end about Biden. And then they just interrupted the show completely for a special news report, which I guess makes sense.
Ian Miller has participated in 10 Olympic Games from Canada. Equestrian also. Actually, you know what? Now I'm going to look up like Lolo, because Lolo did summer and winter.
Billy, I want to figure out how Meadowlark Media, because I
sends me to Paris to cover the games. I think it's too late.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
Oh,
but I'm gonna need your help on. We've never been the show that covers the Olympics well, ever. We've never paid much attention to the Olympics at all.
I don't think this is the year.
We enjoy talking about other things, and we largely ignore the Olympics. But Chris Cody wants to bolster our Olympics coverage, and we were very close to a real international calamity over the weekend where how do you only win by 1 point? Like, how has the world shrunk so much on basketball that we went in 92 from the dream team to we can't beat anybody for sure?
LeBron saved this country a huge international embarrassment. Granted, it wouldn't have happened in the Olympics, but there's a possibility that it can. These two teams will meet up again. But I did a whole bunch of reading on this South Sudan team to see. I did.
You didn't.
I wanted to learn about them. That was an incredible story, and I got to say, I may be framed as anti-American.
What'd you learn?
I was kind of rooting for South Sudan in that moment. Wow. Not just because it would have been this really cool upset. It would have been maybe a movie, a 30 for 30 in the making.
Un-American.
Traitor.
Literally.
No, guys.
What do you mean no?
Guys, it's not that, because it was a friendly. Wow. if it in the Olympics, I'm going to be rooting for Team USA. And when LeBron made that layup at the cup, I'm still, wow, 40 years old doing that. All right, USA all the way. But there were, in my mind, no bad results. Even a loss would have just kind of, send a message to Team USA. You better wake up. Luol Deng's coming to get you, and that's legit. Luol Deng is an assistant coach on this staff. He's a president of the South Sudan Basketball Federation. Their head coach is Royal Ivy, which may be a name that you can recall from the NBA. They only have 2 players on that roster with NBA experience, and yet we're down in the final seconds to just by 1 and had an opportunity for one of the game's biggest upsets. And granted, what was just a friendly, an exhibition, but that was still a really cool story to see. And when you see like how the Olympic groups break down, you were like, well, Team USA actually has a pretty easy path, but it's not your daddy's Spanish national team on the other side of the bracket.
Put it on the poll, please, JuJu, at Le Batard Show. Is it your daddy's Spanish national team on the other side of the bracket? And also, is Luol Deng coming to get you?
And South Sudan, Team USA, they'll meet up again. So this bracket that I thought was more of a flat track is not so much.
How much reading did you do on South Sudan?
I just shared all of it. Okay. Read about half an article. Wow. And I gave you Royal Ivy, players with NBA experience. There you go. I came and brought it on the South Sudan front.
I'm not questioning your information.
I wanted to be helpful on South Sudan. I thought it was going to be what everybody was talking about on Monday.
Well, it was. If it had been a point difference, Billy, would it be everything that we'd be talking about today? If in a friendly, would we all of a sudden make it an international calamity that is both a reflection of how the game has passed us by and American weakness in general? Because if you lose to South Sudan in a friendly, at the moment, there has been nothing that has been cheapened more in the history of American sports than whatever it is the original American dream team was to get from that to this, because Joel Embiid doesn't know how to play international basketball.
It doesn't happen often where Team USA, with its best roster, loses an embarrassing game in the game of basketball internationally. We know how to talk about when Team USA loses and doesn't do well in the Olympics, when we know for sure we're not sending our best team. But you got LeBron, you've got Steph, you've got the best of the best representing this country right now. So I think that would have been an upset that gets talked about, certainly in South Sudan. Like, they become national heroes.
No, it's got to be bigger than that. I won't allow the whole thing
in
to
the
be
entire continent of Africa. I think that's a huge moment. Keep in mind, like, the NBA and FIBA have invested in a basketball league in Africa. It's been going for about 4 years now. You can see it occasionally on NBA TV. I think this is what you're actually seeing the seeds of the NBA's investment in the global game, with South Sudan just falling a point short. They've literally invested with the league. It got some notoriety when J. Cole tried to play in it a couple of years ago, but this is actually a really cool thing. This is actually growing the game, and sometimes it looks like suffering a huge embarrassing loss.
I am going to overreact in the moment without having done any reading on South Sudan and just say that if you beat whatever it is the vestiges of Team USA are in just a friendly, and you've beaten Joel Embiid, who is part of a revolution of American players who are playing for America who don't have to be necessarily from the U.S. as an origin country, I would say, without even knowing the history of Sudan in sports, that it would resonate. Beating the USA would resonate like a seismic sports event, unlike anything the country has ever seen.
And it would probably demand more investment into that African basketball league.
But they were a point away.
It was a cool moment.
Away. No, but it was a point away.
But they have an opportunity to do it.
You got to win the game. You got to win the game. You got to win the game.
Jacqueline Modal from Brazil. 8 Olympics,
Billy,
summer and winter. 1 biathlon, 5 cross-country skiing, cycling, mountain biking.
Dan, you mentioned that we generally don't cover the Olympics, and I'd agree, but I'd also venture to say that there have been reasons for that.
Yeah. They're boring as hell.
Well, that could be one reason if you feel that way, but the previous Olympics were canceled because of COVID, and then we had a stretch of Olympic Games which were in very difficult time zones for us to follow here on the East Coast. So we have Paris Olympic Games, one of the planet's greatest cities. We have a time zone and coverage, by the way, across the entire NBC Universal universe where you can follow all these things. If you're about fencing, they have Scott Hansen and Andrew Siciliano doing a red zone for the Olympics this year. So I actually think our coverage of it will be the best it's ever been.
Perhaps we can make some company announcements about that time that would get people excited about some of the new things we're making as we expand as a network. And I will say to you and the audience that I've really enjoyed what a hustler JuJu Gotti is on getting content that's not easy to get because he really believes in what it is. Like he's not acting. Like he really loves and has pride around everything that's happening around the WNBA. And he's not just adjacent, like he's part of that world in a way that clearly has a great deal of respect. So JuJu, thank you for representing the company so well over the course of the last week. Did you have an enormous amount of fun?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. One of the most funnest weeks in my entire life. It's such an honor to be around those sisters. Like, they couldn't believe that, like, the facts I spit at them. I don't walk up and be a casual, oh, good to meet you. I walk up with a straight fact. Hey, 2 games ago, I saw this, and the third, and they'd be like, my guy, you dig? So it was a pleasure, and that was an honor to be around those such great athletes.
Well, you connect those someplace here in fandom, I would imagine, just because you've been here since the beginning, right? Like that, there are certain special things around the way that sports tend to ascend for people, but to be there on the ground floor when you see the struggle, when it's really shitty, JuJu, it's like to be able to celebrate at the gala, it almost feels like the most magical thing because none of you can believe you're there.
Right. That's why I don't mind the commentary. Like when people be like, you got a fact wrong, or Stephen A. steps in it, or whoever. I don't mind it, brother, because any attention, like my brother Chris Cody say, any publicity is good publicity when it comes to spreading the word of these magnificent sisters. So I'm with it, bro. I'm about all the way in.
What were the highlights for you? Like, what were some of the things that you enjoyed most about the week?
If I'm not mistaken, they told me to get a top 5 together, put a top 5 together. So
all right, let's do it.
OLI.
All right, hold on a second.
Sir.
Hold on. Do we have music? I was not informed of this. That
music.
I don't know. We got a top 5.
Just a fanfare.
Just something.
Yeah.
Give me
Top
something.
5.
All right. OLI.
Yeah, OLI. My bags and my flights were all on time through the grace of the magnificent God I serve. Holy moly.
I was really worried about you, dude. I was really worried about you. It was a bad situation. I'm glad you got lucky.
Oh, wait. So JuJu, so you're talking about a lot of clothes, right? You're talking about a lot. You need you cannot look bad doing that, correct?
Yes, it's because I left last Sunday. So I went to NBA Summer League, and then right after that, I went to the All-Star, and then right after that, I had to go to New York. So, yeah, it was my bad. I never packed that much clothes, and I got the notification from Delta a couple of times and said, hey, you may be FUCK'd, but luckily it did not happen. So thank God. Salute.
It would have been a good piece of content to watch JuJu have to put together an ensemble from like a duty-free shop, though.
No, it would not have. I promise you
that's
that.
Anxiety.
It would have been the worst.
Yeah, it's a lot of anxiety there. You couldn't have gone, right? If your bags don't get there, you can't show up. You can't.
I would have had to go to some kind of Phoenix mall. Hopefully, Amina Hassan would have had something for me in Phoenix.
No. Oh, no.
Just a shirt that says Arizona.
No.
Come on. And some sweatpants that also say Arizona. Come on, that would have been great content.
JuJu, other OLI, or are we on number 5?
We on number 5. Number 5. I met the commissioner, Sarah Spain, for the first time in my entire life at the Flau'jae performance. She was going crazy. Flau'jae was rapping. She had a fantastic show, dog. Like, anybody was in that building, and Flau'jae was giving it to us. Spit. Fantastic job by my sister. But I could not believe I met the commish.
Dude, that's incredible. That's kind of like a stat of the day, considering how long both of you have been in our worlds. But I guess things like the pandemic and different companies that got in the way of that. That's great.
Yes, sir. Number 4, along the week, I went to see the Chicago Sky face the Las Vegas Aces. Holy moly. I was invited by a Chicago Sky coach. You know what I mean? I don't want to give his name out. Don't bother my brother. And so I wore my Marina Mabrey jersey. And then 2 seconds later, she got traded. But for that night, I was on top of the world because I was in Vegas doing my favorite thing I can do, be a villain and root for the road team in a sea full of homers. And you already see Peace Up, A-Town Down. Usher was in the building causing a whole bunch of catastrophes. You dig me? And I wanted to make a correction too. Last week I saw y'all on the show. I was like, oh no. Asia was talking about the referees whenever she was like, y'all ain't did nothing all game, but y'all want to take a picture with Mother Effing Usher. And I was looking at y'all video. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, we blew
I love
that
my
one.
brothers and sisters.
No, that was a
you know
bad
what I mean?
one. That's a bad mistake. Yes.
Accountability. Number 4. Let's see. I got to scroll up.
Number 3.
Oh, number 3. See, let's look at there. Number 3, the media day practice. Oh, my God. In the morning, the media day / practice, I got to ask all the questions to all of my sisters that I admire so much. I touched on mental health, as you've seen a little bit earlier. It was such a great energy because they're usually getting come at. And that room was none of that. It was just all vibes and all respect from every party. So, man, salute to everybody involved. I love that.
What number are we on here? 2? We're on number 2. I wanted to, before we get to number 2, real quick, I didn't realize that you and Sarah Spain had, how long has that been since you've known Sarah Spain without feeling like you've met Sarah Spain?
Right. It's been for a while. Sarah Spain was one of the first people to show me some support. During the pandemic, I was having a lot of depressing thoughts. I didn't want to live at all because the pandemic was the first time that I really sat down and thought about the choices I've made and the decisions that have led me to where I am. While all my friends are going live and they're doing versus battles, I'm looking around like, dang, this person gets to call me the N-word because he doesn't like Mike Ryan. And I was wanting to kill myself. So, I bleep it out, sorry. But I didn't want to live anymore. And Sarah Spain, she bought one of my shirts off of my website and wore it on ESPN, brother. Like,
Why is Roy shaking his head at me? I didn't do anything. I didn't make that happen. I just existed. I'm sorry, JuJu. I'm really sorry, but I didn't. Like, Roy just this is not at me.
I understand, Mike. This isn't about none of that, though. This is about me and my sister, man. Like, I want to show her so much love, and because, like, that mattered so much to me, and it was just a regular act to her, but that mattered so much to me and gave me life and energy to move forward, and salute to Sarah Spain.
Oh, that's beautiful, JuJu. Thank you for sharing that, too. I know that was hard.
Yes, and that was not active. There was no active undermining in the room. It's just Roy getting in the way of things.
I didn't do anything. I just looked behind me.
I got a stray.
Number 2.
It's all good.
Number 1, Dan.
Number 1. What is going on?
No, wait, number two.
Number two. What are you doing?
Oh, my gosh.
Chris, go sit in the
It's all
penalty
good.
box.
I love y'all.
Hold on a second.
But he's hitting the
made a
button.
correction.
He's hitting the button.
2 minutes, asshole.
Dang it. I'm sorry, Chris. We love you. We'll miss you for 2 minutes.
Number
two, though. I met Big Dobbs, and she was with Jason Sudeikis, Caitlin Clark, Sue Bird, Megan Rapinoe, Caitlin Parents. It was a gangster party, man. Big Aubrey, salute, man. I met the queen herself.
Hold
That
on.
was-
So Aubrey Plaza, she's having a moment around here for several years. She is wonderfully unusual, correct? She is courtside at a lot of games, and this time injured. Why was she injured? What happened?
Yeah, she injured herself playing a knockout game, the game knockout. Look, sis is an athlete. You already know. You get up in age, you know what I mean? Your body don't respond the same way it used to. So much love. Get well soon, my beautiful, illustrious queen sister. You did me. But yeah, it was a highlight. I got to speak with her for a little while. And like I said, the party was such a star-studded event. Like every party that we went to, Caitlin just walking around normal. Everybody just walking around normal. Angel walking around normal. Ain't nobody bothering these people because we all respect what it takes to get here. So for them to even show me a little support or salute back and knew who I was a little, bro, I'm like overwhelmed with greatness and just joy in my heart.
Number one, JuJu.
Brother, Big Al, Alicia Gray. Alicia Gray won the three-point contest as well as the skills contest. And for Atlanta Dream supporter, seeing her on that stage and seeing just how humble she was and getting to see her just with that spotlight, bruh, that made my entire weekend. That was the biggest thing. That was bigger than any other thing this year, brother. Like, because Atlanta, we never get a win like that. You did me? So to see her up there and see all the people, look at Ryan, oh my God, and Renee was in the crowd, like the whole family, it was such an honor to be a part of that, just seeing the world show my sister some love. Like, bruh, she never get it, bruh. Salute to Big Al, man. Like, it was, bruh, culminated to that moment. she got 55K for each win. And you know these sisters need, you know what I mean? They not right where they want to be financially with their contracts or whatever yet. So that's just a big night for Big Al, man. Salute and the Atlanta Dream, man.
JuJu, I do really love how much you care. Check out the videos of JuJu in Phoenix at Le Batard Show on social. He is feeling these things deeply because it is a cool time to follow everything that he's been following longer than most. Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
Cool. Don't let us interrupt you, Billy. Go ahead and enjoy those Cheetos and that soda. We'll get started.
Cheeto Puffs?
Whenever it is.
Best Cheeto Puff, right? What's your favorite Cheeto? Can you eat Cheeto? Probably not.
I go Puff last. Give me the crunchy one. Give me the just Cheeto.
Well, I'm only eating one pack. How many packs do you go through when you eat Cheetos?
How does the 10:36 a.m. Eastern Time Cheeto Puff bag?
It's been a day, man. I got to tell you, it's fine. I mean, I don't. I'm going to be judged for my diet.
No.
A bunch of Adonises in this room. Please get out of here.
I'm not getting you. Ease up.
I'll put my BMI against anyone in this room.
I'm just saying, like, you're going to spoil your lunch with the Cheetos.
Yeah. Today feels like a Mediterranean day, and I'm telling you, if I have lamb one more time.
I like the Mediterranean days.
It's
what I don't like about the Mediterranean days is there's like a little thimble full of tzatziki. Like, Mediterranean food is just a vessel for the tzatziki.
Have you ever seen 30 people try to share a tzatziki sauce in, like, just the ranch cup that you get with wings?
It's a little cafecito cup of tzatziki. Now I'm just having lamb without tzatziki? That makes no sense.
Complaining about the free food.
Not complaining, just.
It sounds like you're complaining.
No, I'm complaining about not enough free tzatziki.
Less hummus, more tzatziki.
Yes, so much hummus. I got more hummus than I know what to do with.
I'm being a responsible, grateful adult. I didn't say a single thing. I was just eating my Cheetos. And then I was shamed for eating my Cheetos and asked, why are you eating Cheetos at this time? And it's like, lamb.
Okay.
That's why.
This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to reveal to the live audience I'm going to show some leg here on everything that just happened to this show as Billy strolls into the room because we've been doing this too long.
Joel Embiid said things, Dan. We can get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to it in a second. I've been wanting to get to your Olympic thoughts, and you wander around. You make me beg you for them while eating Cheetos.
I was telling you about a Brazilian cross-country skier that's been in 8 Olympics.
No,
I'm locked in.
No, you're not locked in. You are somebody. Let me tell you how not locked in you are.
Lolo only 3, not that impressive. Also, horrible reality television contestant. That's a story for another day.
Put it on the file of things that we'll get to on another day. But I want to tell you something, as you say you're locked in, that was totally lost on all of you last segment because we fall into the familiar rhythms with this particular crew of we've been doing this too long, and Billy can stroll into the room late. And I'll tell you something, I don't think any of you noticed because, Billy, you were not locked in.
I definitely noticed someone shit-talking BMI, which was the first time I've ever been on the receiving end of that banter.
I was shamed.
I've never heard I'll stack my BMI against anybody.
I stand by that.
Well, now we're going to have a BMI stacking.
It's a BMI off.
I'll lose to Roy.
Oh, God,
Roy will BMI meet me. I tried to work that out live. Didn't work out.
I think we should do that as an Olympic event. I think I want to get to Billy and how it is that he would cover the Olympics. But I just want to show people what happened during the last segment as Meadowlark tries to figure it out headed into our 20-year anniversary. I made the mistake of kicking Chris Cody out of the room. Don't totally trust him as my executive producer for a lot of good reasons. Kick him out of the room because he's yelling at me. It's number 1, Dan, and we were on number 2. So I kick him out. And the simple lack of reaction from Roy and Billy, realizing that I still needed fanfare, made Mike trudge with all of his resentment from, all right, I'll do it again as executive producer. I never wanted to do it this way, and why Stugotz out of town, and why is Dan still turning into content? 20 years is too long to be doing this.
Well, the Stugotz resentment is true. Hitting a button for fanfare. To be honest, I kind of missed that part. That one's easy. No, I gotta say, it is a little tricky, like keeping track of these countdowns when you're traffic directing. I empathize with that situation. Hitting a little fanfare when someone's just done talking, that's one of the lighter aspects of this gig. I miss that part.
Yeah, but do you miss weekend observations?
Not at all. His cadence is all over the place. You think, like, there are periods in the script for a reason. Yeah. I try to go with the periods, and then I just all right, let me follow this cadence, and then it's all wacky.
And then, one sentence, he stops after every word, and you're like, okay, that's his rhythm today. And then the next one, he gets 9 words in before he stops. It's all over the place.
It's just everyone in their car, listening in their headphones, think that they can do the beeps to the weekend observations better than us. It's a lot trickier than it sounds.
There's also a delay sometimes because the system crashes quite frequently.
Mm-hmm.
And he has done a lot of drugs.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Well,
Yeah,
that's-
you're right.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely
Seems
right. Yeah,
reckless.
yeah,
Me
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, but he's in his 50s.
Variable.
I started taking something called Alpha Brain.
Instead of ginkgo?
I ordered
Joe
it.
Rogan's tried to sell me that.
I ordered. No, I do the ginkgo. But I screwed up. You know how we do a bit with Samson and Adnan, and they do the top 5, and always one of them has like 40 seconds left to rattle through. I totally
Always Adnan.
switched up.
Who
Yeah,
was that, Nan?
Yeah.
For the entire segment the other day, Mike's just like, Samson, I know we never leave you time at the end. And
Yeah.
he did it a few times.
Got the
and I
bit
was
wrong.
like,
Just totally forgot the bit.
midway through, I'm like, Mike, you know it's the op. Are you doing a thing? He's like,
Hadn't
what?
spoken to them in a month and a half. Forgot the bit. So I'm like, I gotta do something about this shit. So like flaxseed oils and the whole thing.
Joe Rogan's Alpha Brain, because it's literally called that.
No,
on
this
Amazon.
isn't the Joe Rogan one. This is like, he didn't invent Alpha Brain, guys.
No, that's where
The
I've heard
guy,
it promoted.
Huberman did.
I see the clip.
Clearly, it was Huberman.
And brain supplements have existed before Joe Rogan told us to take them. But he does look sharp.
The thing that I wanted to get back to, because Billy is he's got a lot of opinions about Team USA. And I don't want to be denied what could have been that show. I don't even know how many more times we're going to ever be able to do that show. America's national standing has fallen so much in basketball because clearly international play sort of befuddles us no matter who the players are, and the world has caught up. But we were denied Billy's ability to come in here and I think have the all-time epic rant that would have been anti-American basketball team.
I would never.
I think we were a point from being denied that because of how embarrassing that could have been.
I'll put my BMI against anyone in this room.
Why would you do that?
Put my BMI
Yes.
up against anyone in this room?
Yes.
Because
Why?
I'm confident.
Why? But you backed off the confidence as soon as you
BMI
thought
dick
about
energy, they call it.
you on Roy. You were flexing on Roy, and then you backed off, and you figured everyone but Roy.
Well, Roy's BMI is probably better than mine. I'll put my BMI against anyone in this room.
I don't know, man. Dad bod got me.
My BMI's got to be a little bit better. I spent the entire weekend sucking my gut in.
You know, I saw a
That's gotta
video.
be good for something.
Said if I drink coconut water every day for 2 weeks, all my tummy fat would go away.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Oh, God, no, Roy. Both you and him leave. Both of you leave.
What I do?
We're short-handed.
What are you doing?
Jeremy, it can't always be the bad joke. Someone one time pick the good joke.
That's a topical reference, Dan.
He's helping.
That's going to be the president.
You don't like my hot take that we're going to follow this Olympics better than any other Olympics we ever had previously just because the way that we cover it is going to be so grandiose and great and accessible. We have all these streamers. We pay so much money. We forget what streamers that we have. Well, now NBC Universal's making it easy, so much so that they're like, oh, you just love NFL? Great. Here's some familiar faces. Here's the Red Zone. Oh, which is your favorite Red Zone host? You don't have to choose. Both of them are up there. I think that this is going to be the return of the superstar that is made by the Olympics. Remember, like, the Jenner name was made by the Olympics. We were a country that every 4 years we were wondering who the next star is going to be, who's going to be on the cover of Wheaties. And now, because all these sports are on TV, we've kind of gotten away from that, but I think we're back.
Okay, so forgive me, because if it sounded like I lacked enthusiasm for the Olympics, I have always enjoyed the incarnation of our show that sweeps through the summer and is doing a bunch of different stuff that has nothing to do with sports. And so there, very often over the last many years pre-pandemic, I didn't feel like the Olympics was something that we covered very much. But when you bring it from the perspective of Peacock has been losing, Peacock is the big loser so far in the streaming world and wars where the dollars are crazy.
I don't think we can call anybody a loser right now, as everyone's trying to figure it out.
No, I'm just talking about, forgive me, I'm talking about just early dollar reports as the big dollar investments have to be made on the front end in order to win on the back end. Netflix is said to be ahead of everybody. You've just seen the recent news that came out with Apple. What are you guys looking at on this graph chart that is taking all of you out of the show?
I'm in the orange.
All right, so like
I'm in yellow.
I'm looking at the BMI chart, and it literally depends on if I had a BM or not. Yeah, I'm like
BMI.
right in, like if I have a morning BM, I'm in the yellow.
I don't
If you're
think that's what
bloated, you're
BMI stands for. It's body mass index, not bowel movement.
But I'm like right
Index.
there. It literally, I'm just flirting with that line constantly.
Okay, well, you said the other day that you went to the bathroom 4 times in 4 states in
It's 3 states.
whatever.
Seems
Just
like I'm at 31.
It just seems like you're pooping too
I
much.
think I'm
in
at
general.
31 BMI.
I mean, isn't that a better
Not great.
problem to have than what I usually have, which is I'm not pooping enough? I mean, I'm all over the place. Chris can attest. He's in the chat. I had one week where I didn't go.
Chris, as executive producer, do you want to force people to?
How much do you weigh, Dan? I want to see where you're at.
Indelicate question.
I mean, get me a scale. I don't know what I weigh. Although can you guys help me with this? Because this surprised me here recently. So, like, you saw me inflate and then disinflate with everything that happened around my brother and all that cortisol release stuff. I was like physically, emotionally falling apart. The number of people who now are accusing me of using Ozempic because I don't have the stress of all of that in my life anymore as strongly. My question to you is, why are we doing that one now on shaming people because they might be, not that I'm using Ozempic because I'm not, but like, why are we doing that where we're shaming people for not doing the weight loss the more moral way of
More
being
noble?
willful over your appetites?
More noble? I think that there's a lot of backstories into weight fluctuation. For example, some people might be doing things to their body that might actually be the cause of the weight gain, and the cause of the weight gain is actually what's foreign. So to subscribe a foreign substance to the weight loss would to be remove that other aspect from the equation, which I think is a little unfair, and I'm speaking only for myself here.
There is Ozempic shaming, correct?
Yeah,
that it's a thing. You're not doing the weight loss the noble way
I
if
think
you're not doing it the way that is just exercise and denying yourself food.
It's in the same vein as Mike liking to point people out when they dye their hair. Like, people just want to be, I see what happened.
Yeah, you're
Like,
not doing that. You're cheating.
You
You're
want to
cheating the
call it
game.
out. People
Denying
just-
yourself food is
yeah.
not the noble way. Also,
No.
No, fasting.
That is kind of denying yourself food, and there's a lot of science behind intermittent fasting. I did a 72-hour water fast the other day, and I was, eager to learn that my white cells would be regenerated. That's something that I wanted to try to do.
It's also a shortcut. Like, that's what America's about, isn't it?
No. Like, you want to rejuvenate those white cells, man. Those white blood cells are. I'm telling you, it's a thing. I saw it on IG.
Now we're going to object to the shortcut. And as soon as fat people start getting healthier,
I love a good stomach virus. That's the ultimate shortcut.
Dude.
Oh man, a stomach virus.
Oh,
Back in the day,
I'm looking good.
swine
after
flu.
a stomach virus.
Let me tell you, swine flu. Miserable when I was going through it, but the end result was I could eat McDonald's for at least a year.
if I were to be using something that helped me suppress appetite
Sounds
after
like you're snitching on yourself.
after struggling for 30 years. Yeah, there's no way to talk about this without sounding like that. I just thought it was weird that people were attacking me for taking a medicine I'm not taking. I'm like, why would you shame people for doing this if they need help losing weight?
Don't you have a thyroid issue?
Yes.
Like, that's not fair. That's not fair. So what if you're doing something to offset the thyroid issue? You got dealt a bad hand.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
You should just care what people think about your body less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or care about it more.
This is
like
coming
my
from
Instagram.
This is coming
definitely
from the
knows I
man
do.
who started this discussion with, "I'll put my BMI index against anybody."
Correct.
Like, you can't say you
In this room.
In this room, which
in
is
this room,
like
yeah.
he's not exactly calling out Team USA.
Exactly
It's
right.
still a loss.
Team USB.
What a great idea, Team USA.
Team USB was a
That
bummer.
would be fun. I mean, we didn't get to it with Roy. Roy was
Jay-
quite dismissive of
Wouldn't
it.
you allow Jaylen Brown to just, hey, go ahead, Jaylen, pick an all-star team, see what you can do?
They're winning bronze, no? It's a
I
little
mean, I
dismissive
see
of
the
the rest
sprints,
of the world.
and then there's like 3 Americans running against each other. Why can't we have basketball be the same thing? Even volleyball, right? In volleyball, if I remember correctly, there's multiple teams that participate per country.
This is a good take.
I'm just asking a question.
I think you should double down and push it past the asking the question and make it the take. Like, don't just ask the question. Get out there, be aggressive, get in the middle of the scrum, and make yourself known on you've got an Olympic opinion. You're an Olympic taker.
Let's see, USA Select. We heard great things about Jaime Jaquez and Cooper Flagg. Let's put them out there. Yeah. You try to face South Sudan. Mm-hmm. You be the top guy that everyone's trying to knock off.
I don't think Chris Cody cares. I think we've reached a point.
About America?
I was just looking for an opening to play this again.
I'll put my BMI against anyone in this room.
I don't believe that America cares whether or not. I believe they only care enough about that Olympic team to complain when it loses. That's the only route. That we've diminished what that used to be or what it used to feel like in terms of patriotism isn't into like a cheap thing at the end where if they win it won't mean anything to us, and if they lose we'll fall on them for embarrassing us against South Somalia.
I gotta tell you, South Sudan. I gotta tell you, like following international basketball, you think that it's a noble deed, and like it is, because it allowed me to say like, why isn't Luka Doncic going number one? I watched Slovenia. No one cares. No one cares, and honestly, Stephen A. Smith is just going to saunter in here, and if they're in a barn burner against Puerto Rico, his take is going to certainly outweigh mine. Even though I've been watching FIBA and qualifiers and following scores of like the U15 teams, like it's not that noble.
Can we talk for a second since you mentioned Stephen A. Billy,
his BMI is low. You see the weight loss he had 1 year to the next? Crazy.
He
said, put in the work.
He said it was not Ozempic.
That's what he said. Then he had his trainer come on and confirm exactly what he said. No one could question that.
Are you questioning it?
No, I can't. No one can.
He is in a contract year, and we talked briefly, because a lot of other things happened last week, about Bayless leaving that chair. And I think people now understand, right, that that's not like mutual parting of ways. That's would appear to be, I think, the end of Skip Bayless's career, although I don't know that to be so. And I was curious, Billy, because you made the joke. You were saying that for one day only, him returning to ESPN to do a Shannon and Stephen A. show, that would be funny and great and amazing as one last tribute to a guy who really spent 10 years, 20 years trolling LeBron James, like making the discourse around LeBron James be more poisonous than it had to be. It was like a career lane for him. You think what's going to happen with that chair? Do you care at all about the mechanics of Skip Bayless leaving one of the prime jobs in sports, a job that Fox got him for so that they could create a network that would counter ESPN?
I mean, I was disappointed when they said that they weren't even going to entertain the idea of him coming back. Yeah. I didn't want them to kind of ruin it for me.
For one
before I
day.
even had fun. Yeah, just 1 day a week.
But what about beyond that? Do you care at all about what it would mean
if Stephen A. leaves?
Or if Fox tried to get Stephen A. I don't even know what's going to happen.
I wouldn't
with
do
that
it if
seat.
I was him. If you're asking me what I would do, I wouldn't do it if I was him. I'd be happy with $17 million.
But I mean, just Cowherd can go back and forth now, right? He can make a choice whether he wants to be what McAfee is at ESPN. Like when you're talking about the top of the food chain on who it is that gets those big contracts, Skip Bayless is now out of the running for any of those, correct? Like that part is over. What is the next step for him? I ask with genuine curiosity because I know many people are going to hear this and they're going to think that because I blame him and Stephen A. for sort of making sports talk debate more corrosive than it needed to be and dehumanizing to the athletes, that people are going to think that I'm enjoying the end of Skip Bayless's career. For me, it makes me sad that someone who has dedicated his life, every exercise to work's the most important thing, every meal is just focused on how does he get the attention for being that. It all seems to be over, and I would imagine that's going to be very hard for him. I haven't heard from him publicly. I don't know what the next step looks like. But in the big wars between him and Stephen A., he can take credit in his head for I made Stephen A., I made Shannon Sharpe, and now the two of them have just blown me off of the map of what this used to be. And I'm curious whether anybody cares in that room about what it is that we're talking about, given that these two people have done performative professional wrestling across sports media for the entire decade.
I think a lot of people are having, a deserved go at Skip Bayless and enjoying this. What I would say is probably like that's a hell of a run. I've always been curious as to how someone like that ages in the business. And while I was busy asking that question, Skip Bayless was actually out here aging in the business, looking tremendous for his age. But you wonder, is this a logical endpoint for someone in their 70s doing this game? Does he try to do something online? Well, his online presence, he hasn't quite figured that game out for as inflammatory and for how much his on-air content leans into internet culture, he's not really great at leveraging that and making that an economy. So I just assumed he would just live on the internet if ESPN, which that made me wonder what's going on there for ESPN to so quickly take that out as a possibility. I was very curious about
buddy?
that.
Like come on.
But I guess it's a Shannon thing too, because you remember a couple of years ago, Skip was kind of up, and there were still rumblings of maybe Stephen A. and Skip reuniting
on ESPN Plus.
But when Shannon came into the equation, like you picked a side. Yeah. Like there is a legitimate beef there between Shannon and Skip. So now that they've signed up with Shannon Sharp and his role is only increasing over time there, they had to shoot that Skip Bayless down thing quick, which I found interesting.
Mike just pointed out, like, Skip's not really good at the internet. When I think of Skip Bayless on the internet, I think of him just doing the videos where he's like breathing heavily.
They're good.
And then throwing out his Cowboys jersey.
Yeah, in the trash.
Those are like his two moves.
Every single
walking
week.
into the kitchen.
You see him standing in the hallway, and then he takes a step back, and then he takes a step forward. They're awesome.
But like,
Maybe he's good at the internet, actually.
I know how you judge like daytime sports talk programming is by ratings, and the ratings for First Take were really good and Undisputed not, but for most people that
it's
have
10
jobs,
times the ratings.
Yeah.
It's 500,000 to 50. It's never been, when they got in the Skip Bayless business, it was to continue to climb. Like,
But that's the power of ESPN, too,
Yeah.
right? Which is why I'd be concerned
the
if I was Stephen A.
disparity
with
has never
leaving.
been this large, though. Like, it's what
Well,
they were
they're-
paying for.
for Undisputed. But I would say like they were trying to buy some credibility in getting Skip Bayless, and the numbers for First Things First are incredible, and they're well positioned in the internet age when you look at subscribers.